There is so much that's gone on this week. One of the things that's happened here in Washington and continues to happen today is a tribute, a memorial to law enforcement officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty. Doing what? Serving and protecting. After the horrors and evil of 9/11/2001, it was encouraging to me to see so many people once again come to appreciate that the vast majority of law enforcement, the vast majority of first responders, they're serving and trying to protect for the good of others and willing to lay down their lives. As Jesus said, no greater love is this than a man lay down his life for his friends. And we have seen that in the hundreds of people. I think 273 lost their lives this year. Over 40 this past year. Over 40 have lost their lives this year in the line of duty. And just like in any walk of life, there are bad apples, people who don't have the best motivation. But I would humbly submit, I believe with all my heart that when it comes to law enforcement, the percentage of those who are not properly motivated is far, far less than in the general population. So we do owe them so much. Some people say, "Oh, well, we ought to just live and let live." And they say, "I'm a Christian. I believe in living and letting live." But if you note, if you believe the Bible, then Jesus was commenting. Of course, his ultimate point was that we'll be judged for what's in our heart by Father in heaven. But he said, if you say "raka," which was an offense back in that day, then you will answer to the courts. He understood in an orderly society you need a government, you need governing officials to which people will be responsible if they violate the law. That was also true in Romans 13, anticipating in an orderly society, you need a government with a sword to punish those who do evil. That's why 13:4 says, if you do evil, be afraid, because God doesn't give the sword in vain. I know some people in the country start freaking out when I quote the most quoted book in the history of the country as quoted here in the House of Representatives and in the Senate floor. It's part of our history. The Bible is the most quoted book in congressional history. Was, is, and I hope will be in the future. So we owe so much to the police who risk their lives. Right out of law school, I was an assistant DA for 3 counties in East Texas. And very early on, I went with law enforcement to execute a warrant. And the individual, the subject of the warrant for arrest, had made clear that when he saw any law enforcement officer, he was going to start shooting. He would kill any law enforcement officer that came out there. And I don't forget the feelings that all of us had, even though some were very seasoned law officers, when you are approaching a dangerous building, in this case home, where somebody in there is threatening to kill anybody like you, you do have a little hair stand up on the back of your neck. You do realize you're putting your life at risk in trying to maintain order and civility by one who is a threat to society, by approaching somebody that's a threat to society. And that was quite a lesson that these law officers, whether they're new, whether they've been working for a long time, they are constantly in a situation where they don't know if 10 minutes later they may be dead in the service of their community, but they're serving anyway. We do owe them so much for what they do and what they risk on our behalf. We're just grateful to all law enforcement officers willing to serve and protect all of us.